Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cooking a la Quarantine. I'm Jason, and today we're going to make a recipe that's near and dear to my heart. My grandfather's pepper steak recipe. It's a copy of the original recipe. My mom's got it, okay? See that? That's in his handwriting. Um, it's dated 1976. January 9th, says before I was born, but you know, I can barely read that, so my mom translated it for me. Now look, every once in a while, every Thursday night when Dad would have students, because he'd bring these med students to the house and they'd have dinner and whatever. It was like the coolest thing ever as a kid. But my mom would make pepper steak, and here's the pepper steak recipe. Now, Harris Robinette beef. It is semi-frozen because that's the easy way to cut it. Now, I'm just going to do it. Well, doggone it. That is, I tell you what, this is some of the best sealing stuff I've ever seen. And this thing's... Anyway, I'm not going to use the whole thing today, but we'll use a good chunk of it, and I'll use some of it elsewhere. And you know, again, we'd really like to thank our friends over at Harris Robinette Beef down in Micro and Pine Tops. And what I'm going to do, this is well, it was a little bit more frozen when I started, but basically that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this up. And I mean, look at this marbling. I mean, that's just, I mean, that's a good chunk of meat right there. I mean, look at, you can't beat that. So, I'm going to cut this up. I'm going to add some salt, some pepper, some onions, and garlic. See, here's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to cut down the extra steps that I've been doing. So, I've got my onions here. Okay, I'm going to cut the onions, or cook the onions with the steak and some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to add the beef bouillon, which I'm not going to lie to you, I'm following my grandfather's recipe. It's a cube. And then I'm going to add some peppers. And then the final step is the mushrooms and the tomatoes. But I'm going to wash my hands and we'll be right back. All right, so this thing, I'm going to serve it over a bed of rice in the Instapot. Now here's the thing. This recipe calls for 2.5 cups of water to 2 cups of brown rice. My cheat sheet, when we get to the right side, says 1:1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 cups of brown rice to 2 cups of water. And if it screws up, it screws up, because that's exactly what you guys would do at home, I'm sure. So while that's doing this, we'll go over here and start cooking up the steak. We'll be right back. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, according to my grandfather's recipe, it says heat the fat in the large skillet. So I did use a little bacon fat. We've got to remember this recipe's from the 70s. So I'm going to throw in our onions, try to make it the whole way into the skillet. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But we're going to break that up and we're going to cook this down a little bit. Then we're going to add, I've got some garlic in here, by the way. Um, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up. Then I'm going to add the steak. And we're going to cook that until it's brown. And then we're going to add our green peppers, our bouillon, cover and cook over low heat. Now, here's the thing. My wife doesn't like green peppers, but I do. So I made them extra big so she can be a little 12-year-old girl and pick them out. And that's okay, because I hate ketchup and mayonnaise, and she drowns everything in that crap. So everything's okay. But you get this thing going, and what we're going to do is I'm going to add our Harris Robinette beef. And you get it all nice and hot, and you flip it around, and we're going to get ready to add the peppers because it's pepper steak. All right, so as you can see, we're browning our meat, and cooking up our onions. And that's about that. Now, okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to add my bouillon, my green peppers. I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. Now, I'm going to be adding some soy sauce, so I really don't need to be adding that much salt. So, add that. And we're going to cover that, and we'll be right back. All right, so we've cooked this for about 10 minutes. I'm going to add mushrooms. It doesn't call for it, but my wife likes mushrooms, so we'll do that. I'm also going to add, I can't say how much I'm looking forward to this year working with the farmers market and some of the connections that I've made this last year through my goofball cooking show. I can't wait to go see. So we've got this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Now what that does, that's going to make kind of a gravy that we pour over our rice. It's not really a gravy, it's just kind of soupy. So we're going to mix this up. I'm going to cook this for a little bit longer. The rice isn't done yet. And when I get back, we'll put this together and give it a shot. All right, I forgot the soy sauce. So that should be about it. Now I'm going to put it back on. I'm going to let the cornstarch do its lovely chemical job of thickening everything up. And we'll go from there. And we'll be right back. Alright, so we've cooked our rice for 22 minutes. We've let it naturally aspirate for 10, which is what the recipe calls for. We've got our pepper steak right here with our Harris Robinette beef. That's exactly how my mother would fix it. So my biggest thing today is, you know, a lot of people talk about how I can't, you know, when they cook, they can't do this. I even had somebody say, I'm so stupid in the kitchen, I can't make toast. Well, you can, just give it a try. Give it a shot. But one thing that I can't do is make rice. And hopefully this thing will fix it. And I have no idea. Oh, well, it's kind of sticky. Which is all right. I do love rice. I just haven't figured out necessarily how to do it. And, you know, we'll figure it out. So here's our pepper steak. Just like the way my mom made it. You know, peppers, tomatoes. Boy, it would help if I got some beef in there. I'll take all the peppers because my wife hates them. But see, the gravy's not really a gravy, but it's you know, you put it over rice. So let's give this a shot. Rice sticks together a little bit, but you know, for my first time, it's not bad. You know, the peppers, if you look at it, they're not super limp. Let's tear into that Harris Robinette beef. You know what? It could use a little bit more soy sauce. But other than that, it's a pretty good meal. And all you have to do is add a little bit of soy sauce. So remember, be kind, be excellent to each other. Check me out on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And have a great day. We'll see you soon.